What if one of the greatest love stories ever written isn't really about love? Well, not at first anyway. What if it's actually about something we all struggle with? The danger of our first impressions. And maybe more importantly, the courage it takes to look in the mirror and say, I was wrong. Today we're going to dive deep into Pride and Prejudice.
Welcome to Iconic Books Explained.
And it all kicks off with this line. It's one of the most famous openings in all of literature, right? Jane Austen just throws us right into this world where, let's be honest, marriage is not about romance. Nope, it's a business deal, a high-stakes one. You make a good match, you're secure for life. A bad one, or no match at all, you could be facing total ruin. But then we meet our hero, Elizabeth Bennet. And let me tell you, she is not playing this game. She's sharp, she's independent, and she is not interested in just becoming some rich guy's property. She's got this amazing, playful spirit. She loves to laugh at how ridiculous everything is. And she's searching for something real, something more than just a fat bank account. And that, right there, is where our story really gets going.
All right, so let's get into Act 1. Think of this as setting the stage, laying out the rules of the game and putting all the key players on the board.
So why is there so much pressure on these 5 Bennet sisters? It all comes down to this one kind of weird legal word, entail. Basically, it means that because they're women, they can't inherit their own family's home. When their dad dies, everything, the house, the money, it all goes to some distant male cousin they barely know. So their only way out, their only path to not being completely destitute is to marry someone with money. The stakes are impossibly high. And just like that, almost on cue, 2 potential solutions walk into town. First, you've got Mr. Bingley. He's rich, he's handsome, he's super nice, everybody loves him instantly. Total package. And then there's his friend, Mr. Darcy. Now, Darcy is even richer. But man, he comes across as proud, cold, and just disagreeable. Seems like an easy choice, doesn't it? Okay, so let's move into Act 2 because this is where things start to get really complicated. This is where the title of the book, Pride and Prejudice, really starts to make sense. It's all about how we get blinded by those first impressions. And boom, here it is, the moment that changes everything. They're at a local dance, and Elizabeth happens to overhear Mr. Darcy talking about her. And what does he say? This. She is tolerable. Tolerable? I mean, can you imagine? It's not just an insult. It's public. It's so dismissive. And that one word is the tiny spark that's about to ignite this massive fire of prejudice Elizabeth is going to have against him. And just like that, her prejudice is locked in. You know how this works, right? It's classic confirmation bias. Her brain now has a story, Darcy is an arrogant jerk. So when she meets the super charming Mr. Wickham and he tells her this sob story about how Darcy wronged him, well, it fits her narrative perfectly. It's exactly what she wants to believe. She doesn't even question it. She just eats it up.
So then, Elizabeth gets hit with not 1, but 2 of the absolute worst marriage proposals in history. First, there's her cousin, Mr. Collins, who's this ridiculous, pompous guy. His proposal is all about practicality, and she shuts that down fast. But then comes the real bombshell. Mr. Darcy proposes, and it is a train wreck. Seriously, he basically lists all the reasons he shouldn't be in love with her, insulting her family, her social status, before he asks her to marry him. So as you can imagine, she doesn't just say no. She absolutely unloads on him with all that prejudice that's been building up.
And that explosive rejection, well, that brings us right to the story's major turning point. Welcome to Act 3, the shock of the truth. So the next morning, Darcy, who's clearly reeling, hands Elizabeth a letter. And this letter, it doesn't just change things, it shatters her entire reality. He reveals that Mr. Wickham, the charming victim, he's a total fraud. A liar, a gambler, who tried to run off with Darcy's own 15-year-old sister just to get his hands on her inheritance. And yeah, Darcy admits he broke up Jane and Bingley, but he says he did it because he genuinely thought her sister wasn't that into his friend. Reading this, you can just feel Elizabeth's world tilting on its axis. She's mortified. I mean, here's a woman who prided herself on being a great judge of character, right? And she suddenly realizes she's been completely and utterly blinded by her own wounded pride. That first impression she was so sure of, it wasn't insight. It was just prejudice. But changing your mind about someone isn't instant. It's a journey, right? And for her, it happens in stages. She ends up on a trip, and kind of by accident, she visits Pemberley, which is Darcy's huge estate. And there, his housekeeper just gushes about how he's been the kindest, most generous master her whole life. Then, who does she run into? Darcy himself. And he's different. He's gentle. He's polite. He's totally changed. But the real test, the final piece of the puzzle, comes when a massive crisis hits her family.
And that crisis pushes us into our final act, Beyond Pride and Prejudice. This is where both of them, Elizabeth and Darcy, finally have to face the very flaws that have been keeping them apart this whole time.
So what was that crisis? Well, Elizabeth's wild youngest sister, Lydia, actually runs off with that scoundrel Wickham. This was a huge deal back then. It would have brought total disgrace on the entire family. But then, Elizabeth finds out a secret. It was Darcy who, completely behind the scenes, found them. He paid off all of Wickham's huge debts out of his own pocket and basically forced him to marry Lydia to save the family's name. And he did it all for her without wanting any credit.
So Darcy has proven who he really is through his actions. Now it's Elizabeth's turn. Darcy's terrifyingly rich and powerful aunt, Lady Catherine de Bourgh, literally storms into the Bennet's house and demands that Elizabeth promise she'll never marry Darcy. The old Elizabeth might have stumbled, but not this one. She stands up to this powerful woman, completely refusing to be bullied. And that's it. The walls are finally down. His pride, humbled. Her prejudice, gone, replaced by the truth. For the first time, they can actually see each other for who they really are. So when Darcy proposes again, it's not based on first impressions or social status. It's built on real respect and deep, hard-won understanding. So, why do we still talk about this book hundreds of years later? I think it's because this isn't just some old-fashioned romance. It's about something so human, so timeless. It's about how incredibly easy it is to judge someone and how unbelievably hard, but also how important, it is to check our own pride and just admit, hey, maybe I got that wrong.
And that really leaves us with one last question to think about, one that's just as real for us today. So I'll ask you, when was the last time you really, truly challenged a first impression you had of someone? And if you did, what do you think you might find?